The fire itself happened on Saturday morning, May 8th, 2010. I was at home. I was sleeping in. I'm a morning person, and to sleep in until 7 o'clock is pretty good for me. But I was lying in bed, and the phone rang, and it was my boss, Bob Calgren, calling, and he said, "Joanne, there's been a fire in the library. You need to come."
I see all the smoke coming out, and everybody's milling around. Bob Calgren was there, and the firefighters were there. They weren't even they hadn't even gotten into the library yet.
Well, of course, I jumped out of bed and dashed out to the school to see, thinking that it would be a little fire, maybe, not realizing until I got there and saw several fire trucks and lots of people. When I came up, Dr. Bill Jones was there with the other administration from CIU with the fire chief. And when I arrived, he was giving them an update on the damage as it appeared at that time, and this was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. So they were still fighting the fire. I stayed right there until the very end. When they finished fighting the fire, it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they took us inside the library to see it. And that's when I realized how badly damaged the entire building was, not just where the immediate fire had been.
At first, when we didn't have our books, I felt like, I kind of felt like a superhero who had lost her powers because I didn't have my books with me. I really felt that way. I was like at a loss for a short period of time as to, I'm used to having everything I needed right there, and the books weren't there.
The fire has had a big effect on all of us at CIU. For students, of course, there's the inconvenience of not having everything at their fingertips that they were used to having and that we as librarians want to provide. And that's probably the hardest thing for the library staff. Right after the fire occurred, Keith Marion, our vice president, called me and told me that he had engaged some architects to help us redesign and renovate the library. It obviously had to be rebuilt. What he did not know was that for about 5 years I had been putting together in my head plans. If I ever were asked, what would you like to do if you could have a new library?
When we were thinking about planning for the new library, my goal especially was that it be suit the needs of students today and how they like to learn and collaborate. Lots of libraries talk about having collaborative space, so we wanted to make sure that we had the study rooms that we have now.
I thought one of the things students really liked having in libraries these days was a coffee shop. I knew we would not have room for a coffee shop like we think of coffee shops, but if we could find a way to have coffee available in the library, I thought that would be a popular thing to have, and I certainly would enjoy it. From the very day of the fire up until this very day that we're talking, one of the things that has come to us over and over again is how God is in charge of what happened. We know that God allowed this for a lot of reasons. We have brand new library. We have new books and new furniture that we would never probably have had otherwise because we've replaced all these things after the fire. That's a great blessing that we can never lose sight of. When we trust God, He gives us the courage and He gives us the strength, mentally and physically and spiritually, to handle a difficult situation. This is something we cannot learn any other way but by going through a difficult experience. So we just need to look at it from that perspective, that God is in control and He has a lot of ways that He will use this experience.